Yeah, we're
set up,
fine.
and that's what
Now you
matters.
Should it be?
For some reason, Discord doesn't want to load. There you go. Now it
My
wants to
life,
load.
7:2. I gotta remember what my freaking Discord name was.
I
Holy
think this
crap.
is it. Yeah. Quarterly meetup. Oh, voices. Cool.
We don't.
Oh, you know what would help if I actually connected to the Wi-Fi?
Well,
that
actually-
sounds like a smart idea.
No.
Cardioid or Omni? Omni?
All right.
Omni Crisis?
Boom.
No.
Do you use Discord?
No.
It's
So
just an
basically,
app.
so Discord is the way for us to stream this meeting to.
Those who aren't here.
It's the way for us to stream this meeting to people who can't make it here.
Yes.
And so basically, they can listen in on Discord.
Okay.
So we'll occasionally look over at Tatsu's computer and be like, oh, somebody says this.
But we'll go over
Do you
we'll
want to
go
keep
over
track
all
of
the
these?
different sort of
Since
social
I
media
can't see
outlets and
anything.
mechanisms
Okay.
that we use as a
Like,
community. to stay in
okay,
touch
yeah.
with
Sweet
one
ideas.
another. So you can download.
I'll do that.
I would love to just open Discord. That'd be awesome.
Sorry.
You can't just open Discord. You
Why
have
does
to
not
open
simply
it and then
open
make more
Discord?
pylons or.
Discord opens you.
Oh, whoa.
This is not.
The loading
This is
screen.
not Canada.
This is
No, this is not Canada.
I highly doubt that this is Canada.
This isn't Canada anymore, Toto.
This isn't Russia. Thank you. Where everything is flipped. That's what I was trying to think. I was just like, Canada's way off. That's
You know,
not even close.
You would think that Australia would be the place where everything is flipped, but
It's true. Hamburgers eat people there.
oh god, I've seen that comic before.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Before the raid.
So let's go ahead and get started, guys. We got an hour and a half, hour and 45 left.
Well, actually, Alaska is
Till
close
4?
to Russia.
Yeah, it's a 4.
It was
No,
born
no,
there.
no,
So
I
America
didn't. Okay,
is
go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, we got an hour and 45 minutes here, guys. So we got quite a few things we want to talk about, along with scheduling our meets for next summer, basically. So
Yes.
let's go ahead and get started this summer.
You said next summer.
This summer.
Is it summer yet? Is it still spring?
Technically, it's spring.
You
So
can
it
still
looks like
say
That
this
still works.
summer.
it's the
Next summer
greenest
still
month of
works.
the year.
This summer.
So our first announcement for today is we've been conducting elections for the next admin. Palm's done a great job doing that. I just want to say thanks to Palm for all the work he did with that.
Right.
I think it was a successful election. We
Right,
have
in
4 nominees that ran.
nominees, we had Chrono Wolf, we had Theatrillion, Sammy Southpaw, and Abby Normal. And the winner of the election
Drum roll.
by about 70% is Chrono Wolf.
Hey.
All right, come here.
Just take your seat.
I have a seat right here for you.
Oh,
Wait,
70%?
we have 2 other seats up there.
I gotta do the
What's
whole
going on?
Academy Award thing.
Nobody can see you.
Yeah.
Nobody in the chat is surprised.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just a quick word on Chrono. If you guys haven't met him yet, I'd be surprised. Chrono's everywhere. I think he's got a lot of great ideas. He brings a lot of great skills and talents that'll really help take our community to the next level. And so I'm happy to welcome him aboard. So
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Let
thanks.
the fun begin.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Next order of business is I don't know what's the next order. Of
So
business?
the next announcement we have is, as we talked about in the previous quarterly, we were working on getting a waiver document that you will sign put together. Oddly enough, we had a lawyer join our group recently, so he was able to help us get the correct wording for all that stuff. So
Excellent. Okay.
we're ready to roll that out. Currently at this time, we're just going to manage it through paper format until we can get everything figured out how we do it online and still maintain all the legalese stuff. So that'll still be in process.
Question. So, once you figure that out, will you still have it in paper form, just in general, or no?
Probably both.
That's what I figured.
Just
So-
on file at somebody's house.
Yep. So if you're
Makes
over
sense.
if you're over 18, you'll just have to sign it once and it'll be good forever.
Just in general. Okay.
Yep.
A waiver specifically for, I just.
Sure. So it's a liability waiver. If you get hurt or you cause property damage or any other numerous things that can happen, the group and the admins and event organizers are not liable for your actions.
That makes sense.
And then the other thing we worked on was putting together a parental consent form.
Stare at him.
Whoa. Okay.
For people who are under the age of 18. So currently we allow people 16 and 17 to attend our meets. That will continue as well. But if those people would like to attend without their parents, they will need to have their parents and them sign this parental consent form. The other thing with it is if your parents can't come to a meet and provide proof that they are your guardian, you can take it to a notary, have the notary sign it, and then you can bring it to us and we will take it from there. And that will allow you to attend meets without having a parent there.
It's kind of a process, but it's like once you get through that process, hey, you can come to if you're under 18, you can come to meets now and forever, until of course, and then you turn 18, and there you go.
You're done.
Yeah, but it's a bit of a process, like getting it set up, but it's like once it's done, it's like no questions asked. You can just come to any meet, and that's and it's been sort of an issue before where it's like it's been an issue before where it's like we have to we turn people away, or we scrutinize those who are under 18, and it's
Now we have a formal path that you can do to come to meets without having to worry about those things.
Being sneaky.
Yes.
The age of sneaky is over.
Yes.
You can be weird and pup. No, okay, wait.
So how do you plan to maintain that? So for example, if you do have a meet that is bound to have like a handful of people who are either need to sign the consent form or between 16 and 17 years old, how do you maintain a database so that you're aware of whoever's attending has actually gone through that process?
So we'll have all of our forms documented. We may put together a summary sheet of maybe real name, furry name, and we pretty much know who is who at meets. So
We will print ID cards.
Well, I think that's important because I
don't think we have that kind of money.
I think you should reiterate when people are signing the forms as well that they use their real names.
yeah, well, legally that'd be required.
Yeah, precisely. Because I know that when initially I was doing the consent forms for the FurFit event, I got a couple of people write down their furry names. I'm like, this is not
Try
quite
again.
right.
I bet I wrote down.
That's why I asked that. That's why I asked that question.
Yes. So it's important, for legal reasons, your legal name.
Whoops.
So does anybody here or on Discord have any questions related to the liability waivers and the parental consent forms?
How soon do you intend to get those out?
I would assume after this meet we will make some forms available for people to sign. We'll start bringing them to meets and have
we're
people
also
sign.
working on doing an online version as well.
Yeah, I have to get through some of the legal stuff with that, figure it out. So once that's ready, we'll just be able to do online. But
So just fairly soon in general then.
yep.
Cool.
And we could probably start bringing those to the game nights and just be like, hey everyone,
It's a good start.
sign a form.
Just
and yeah.
have this
If you haven't-
huge
if you
manila
haven't-
folder just filled
Yeah.
with them.
Well, you can essentially what you can do is it's like Castle of Chaos has this where you basically it's like just like a pad and it's like a tear off sheet and it's like here you go,
Oh yeah.
And so
You can do that too.
Yep.
Eventually,
we
an
just got
online
like we
database
just
would be
got
great.
like a stack of those. So
A mice
Like
club.
My spot.
Oh.
okay, and yeah. So we just answered that. Is there an estimated date? Just next Wednesday, probably.
Effective, I guess, Monday.
Monday.
Because we got a few meets this week and they're going on concurrently, so we'll just say Monday is our official start date for both of those.
Okay.
And if you have not signed it or refuse to sign it, obviously, sorry. Once you get it signed, then we'll be good. We'll provide all the forms available right now to everybody.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would have this privacy concern thing, but if they understand it's something that is a legal document and their privacy is somewhat guaranteed, I'm
Yep.
sure, it's just like anything. You can't go into a doctor's office and say, hi, I'm Chrono Wolf.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you my real name.
In our form, do you guys have the link for that so you can share it with them?
Let me see.
Are we gonna do your beta test?
Yeah. There we go.
If you guys want to share that for everybody to see in Discord. Is that just the parental or is that the waiver too?
Oh, that's the.
Non-profit.
Whoops. Wrong link.
That's next.
I'm gonna read it anyway.
How dare you?
Delord it anyway.
Delete
it.
They might want
Delord
that
it.
link for later anyways.
Delty did.
You're right. I can send
They
it
might
to
want
you.
that link for later anyway.
Right.
So getting that on there.
I don't think you gave it to us, right?
No, Tetsu, don't put that in there.
Okay.
Whoa. Someone screaming, share the form!
Big Yip 34.
Give me the share the form.
34. So rule 34 for rule 34.
No.
It's number 3 and the number 4 doing something crazy.
Okay, there we go.
Probably
You got it?
4.
There we go.
Da-da-da-da.
That's
No,
the right
that's
one.
why I'm just like,
So the information that's on these forms, guys, it's basically just your first and last real name, today's date, a lot of text, and that's about it. So it's not like you're putting down your driver's license. There's not a lot of personal information. We just when you sign it, we need to see proof of who you are. So bring your driver's license or some form of identification. And then if for the parental consent form, we would probably ask that parents bring like a birth certificate and then their own ID too, so we can match that up.
Do they also contain emergency contact information?
The parental consent form does not contain that right now.
Okay. That's probably a good idea.
Okay. And is that
So-
all right?
So that's it for that, unless there's any more questions.
All right. We'll go on to
Let me pull up the next topic. So this is something that I'm requesting to talk about. Anybody can do like this thing. Basically, is you can submit a question or a complaint or a recommendation through using our Google form. I did that, just the same thing for this. And so what I want us to talk about today is when I was at BLFC, I went to 2 panels. One was called Starting Your Own. Well, first of all,
we held a panel.
Yeah, we held a panel on how to organize furry meets, and then the next day there was a panel called How to Start Your Own Furry Group, and I'm like, that might be interesting to attend, see what other people's perspectives are on it. And it ended up being the Minnesota Furries group that was organizing this meet, and one of the things that they talked a bit about was they started out just like how we are, as just a social group sort of thing, and then they kind of realized that if they wanted to take their community to the next level, they would need to transition to become like a nonprofit organization. And so I kind of want to bring that up with everybody here, with the other admins, and maybe forward that discussion for our community. Personally, I feel like in the past year and a half, we've made a lot of progress as a group. I mean, we have probably more member meets going on right now. I think participation's probably...
And over the past year, we had over 150 meets.
wow.
I think 30% of those were member meets too.
Yeah.
It's about 40 meets in the past year have been member meets. So we got a lot of activity and a lot of people who are interested in helping out. We had, I think, 5 people initially that got nominated to become admins for this next election. And so I think we definitely have the activity and the participation to start considering something like this. And so basically what I have here is I just kind of want to talk about some of the benefits that they talked to me about that they've experienced with their group, and some of the things that kind of suck about being a nonprofit, because it is a lot more work, of course, because you're basically running a business that doesn't make money. So here's some of the benefits that I've kind of outlined. I think Tatsu's going to be sharing that link with you guys here in a moment. But first of all, a nonprofit will allow the group to more easily bring minors into the group, actually. And it's because it's easier to bring parents in, because this is being sold as something like, this is a volunteer community, right? And so they'll be more comfortable bringing their kids to a meet and being like, this is for something good. This is something that my child can participate in and learn real life skills from. And interestingly enough, that they saw that they got a lot of participation actually from the children's parents. They helped out with things that they had, whether it was, bringing their tea collection to a tea meet or something like that, is what somebody had mentioned in that meet, or something like that. So they get a lot of help from parents in this structure. Nonprofit also allows their group and other groups to experience a little bit more stability. And this has aided the Minnesota group because of the structure that they use. Nonprofits have basically a board of directors that are nominated, and those directors are in charge of specific areas. And so there's a lot of delegation, a lot of hands being involved, a lot of effort from a lot of people. And so it allows the group to be a lot more stable in that if somebody's, difficult as a person, or, we've had admins who've not done a very good job or whatever, it's a lot more stable because you have a lot more hands on deck, basically. The other thing is that the people who are elected to be on the board are nominated by people who are active in the community. And they define, in Minnesota, they define people who are active as by people who host events, donate art to the community, participate in board meetings, and perform at charity events. And so if you are an active member, then you're allowed to participate in voting, elections, and all the business side of things. And as a result, you get more community participation. One of the things we've tried to get people to do is to give us some art so we can use it on our event posts, but it's just really hard when there's no reason for them to do it other than out of the kindness of their heart. And so it kind of gives people a reason to contribute to the community and that sort of thing. Being a nonprofit will also allow the group to collect money. Minnesota Furs do this by creating badges at their meets. They have a badge printer, basically, like you would get at a convention. I forgot to bring mine today. I was going to show you guys, for those who haven't been to a convention. And it really makes people feel like they're included in the community, that, it's something that you're going to collect and keep forever, right? So that's how they do it. They charge like $15 for theirs, and the money goes into their budget, and they're able to do meets such as this Wear Camp meet that I've linked to in this document here. And in that, it's basically like a weekend furry con at a campground with cabins. There's a lot of legal issues that come with that sort of stuff, and having the money to rent out the place, to buy insurance like you would with a convention, event insurance, having that budget would allow you to do cool meets like that. And living in Utah, I think we have a lot of potential here for some really fun meets. We got some really cool areas that not a lot of other states have, and so I think having that would give us having a nonprofit would allow us to utilize those cool meets. Nonprofit will also allow community members to be protected. As a nonprofit organization, we will be able to provide the organization with legal protection and insurance that will ensure that board members and community members are not personally liable for potential legal issues. The waiver right now is kind of covering us a little bit, but again, it's just a paper shield. It doesn't completely make people immune to stupid things that can happen. A nonprofit also allows the organization to own an IP. So if we wanted to make a mascot or a character that we had copyright to use on our advertisements, conventions will do this with their own character or some saying or like that you can use that. On the other side of it, being an organization, you have to be very conscious that you don't use copyrighted fonts, art, pictures, everything. So it's a little bit give and take there. And also, nonprofit would allow the group to be more prepared for the future. So the Minnesota Furs group started out just like we have, just as a fun social community, furries getting together. And basically, over time, once they realized they needed to transition to a nonprofit to do more, I think it was like 10 years later, then they decided, hey, we have money, we have the organization already, let's start our own convention. And so I feel like doing nonprofit for us, it's not like we would have a convention tomorrow. It would be something, a ways down the road. But, we haven't had a lot of success here with conventions in Utah. The previous one, UnthroCon and Free Unlocked, failed just due to lack of participation from the community. And you never know what's going to come down the pipeline, and I think it's great to have conventions here. And if we did something like this, we might be better prepared in the event that we want to make our own convention again.
We've got follow, but
Yeah,
Mhm.
at the current time, but you never know down the road
Mhm.
how long that'll last either, because things happen. So some negatives about running a nonprofit: you have to do a lot more things, including filing taxes, accounting, money tracking at events. You have to manage media and personnel interactions. If you get like a request from, I don't know, a newspaper, you have to have people ready to handle those. Event organization, we would still need that because we're a furry group that meets at furry local events, so we want to keep doing that. We'd have to organize regular board meetings. We'd have to have a website probably with a webmaster, and we'd have to manage our social media. A lot of this we do already is on the event side, but I think we do have enough people here now that have these skills already that we could do this. And it creates opportunities for people to participate. Like I said earlier, for parents bringing their minors into an organization or a nonprofit, they see it as, oh, look, my kid can learn how to do real life skills. And so those things give people the opportunity to gain real life skills that they can put on resumes. Another thing that they noticed in Minnesota is they had a little bit of a rough transition. It's hard to go from, a couple of people who organize furry meets to this scale. And they didn't quite have enough able bodies to do all that. And so there was some growing pains that they mentioned that they had. And they also had the hard part of appointing their initial board members, because it's like, well, we're not an organization yet, so we don't really have things set up. But how do we say who's going to help us get things rolling? And so it was a bit difficult to do. And obviously, if we went down this road, that would be something we would all have to agree upon as a community currently. And finally, not having clearly defined roles and responsibilities caused the Minnesota group to have some issues initially, especially because they didn't cross-train other people on how to do taxes, accounting, whatever. And so when people left the state or just left the community, they were a bit vulnerable. So their recommendation basically was to make sure you're cross-training people. So. And so basically we would just kind of want to say, have like work practices saying, guidelines basically of how we want to do things, so we can continue doing that skill set no matter who's in the role or position. So that's what I have to say. I'm interested to hear what everyone else has to say on it. If you have anything to say, hopefully we can continue this discussion. I think moving forward, I'd like to see it continue like on Facebook, so the people that aren't here have an opportunity to chime in, and then maybe down the road we can take it further. So,
Is there any other topic you brought up while I was getting these?
I had quite a few things.
Liability form.
consent form
Fair enough.
/ liability. I'm gonna just, and then we'll talk about, we'll have meet ideas, and then I'm also just gonna talk about
Oh,
current
itinerary.
meets that we have planned. Speaking of which, what time do we want to do the June meet? What's a good time for that? The free meet for June is the arts and crafts one. I'm gonna reserve a room.
Oh yeah, that. I think noon to 2 is a good starting time.
Okay.
Ending time probably 5 or 6.
Is it tasty?
What? Oh. I
Do we
can't
know if someone in the
twist my
community
finger.
can provide those accounting skills?
I wouldn't be surprised.
We
Andrew Fox that is an attorney, so he could help with some legal,
Very different attorney, though. He's a copyright attorney. There's
Still.
many types of.
still legal reasonings.
It's very different.
Yep.
It's very different, unfortunately. So.
We used to have a nonprofit group here in Salt Lake for the furry community. It was called RAY. It stood for Wasatch Anthropomorphic Arts, and I can't remember. Anyway, there's people who are still in the community that were involved with that community, and I think we could look to them for guidance on how to do some of these things. Nothing's impossible. We can always learn. We can talk to like this Minnesota group too, and reach out to other nonprofits for guidance on how to do these things.
I definitely think we could do a Google Forms that people could fill out. Say, hey, I am skilled in this stuff, and I would like to help with pushing us into a nonprofit status. Like you said, we need people who know accounting, taxes, event planning, media stuff. We might even be able to collaborate with AWU, because I think as a nonprofit we would be able to back them pretty well.
Yeah, I think our goal eventually is to build some kind of database that enables for us to recognize other firms within this community who have a specific skill set that they can either offer back to the community or other people in general. This is not just limited to people who may have legalese or experience. It could also be people who are artists, for example. Because a lot of the time we go to meets and someone says, oh, I just really wish someone could design me a badge. And someone will be like, I draw. And you'll be like, you draw? And they're just like, yeah. So like a database of different skill sets that you can click on a skill set, and then, for example, it just shows you anyone within the community that does happen to have that particular skill set.
So like perhaps with Cigna's consent, we could bring that issue up at the Art Jam this upcoming week.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I mean, some kind of form that people can nominate themselves for it, because then, you know, they're providing us with consent ultimately to be able to have them considered for a provider of that service. If they don't want to be considered, then of course don't fill in the form, basically.
I guess down the road too, longer term, if we do decide to go this route, or well, we would have to agree as a community to do this. It would go up for vote, probably the next quarter or the following, depending on what sort of progress we make. But it's going to have to be something that everybody's okay with doing, because it is a lot of change. It's not going to be easy, but I think the benefits are worth it, and it can really help us take our group to the next level.
I definitely agree.
How would things change going from the current admins to board members? Would they still be voted in the same way?
We would probably have to figure that out as a group.
Okay.
I mean, in the end, I think that's up to the community how that is done. And I personally do favor how we do it currently.
So I sent an email to the Minnesota group earlier this week. I got their contact information at BLFC, so hoping to hear back from them, and maybe they can give us some skeleton rules and stuff on how they started up, and give us some guidance and recommendations. I'll try to see if I can find some other nonprofits as well and reach out to them. So be on the lookout for that, I guess. Was there any comments from the chat?
We had somebody ask, would you guys be willing to have somebody within the community help with all that? And we've sort of already answered that. We were asked if we have a website, and no, it would be on Facebook. Mystic has asked if we have any merch ideas, if we did go forward with the nonprofit. How are we raising money?
You could do so many things.
Yeah. Honestly, that's probably the easiest part of that.
And the funnest.
Yeah, arguably. Back when I was in high school, I was actually the fundraising manager for the robotics team, and I ran a donation LAN party every other week for like 6 months, something like that. And so it was essentially, you had a required donation, which is the legalese for, you do have to pay, but it's a donation, for people to come in, use the computer lab computers for video gaming at school. At school.
Good internet too, probably.
And then of course there was also, pizza, buck a slice, soda, 50 cents a can, garbage like that.
I think it might also be worthwhile to speak with the board members of Slough, because they've been doing this, their thing for how many years now? 3, 4?
Hi.
I'll look to Tatsu for that.
Oh, well, I didn't know you helped with that, sorry.
So we, Slough is actually the same as the U2F2 right now. We don't have anything legal in place. We just rent the space and throw a party.
Ah.
Yep.
Fair.
Yeah, there's a few mentions of web that's going back and forth on the Discord. So I actually spoke to this with Oaken and Palm just before the whole admin thing, just an idea that I had. I know that a lot of people have web experience, and that'll be fantastic. I'll probably talk to you guys, but I actually spoke to them about a month or two ago about building some kind of central hub, and it would actually be basically something that not only ropes in all the information that is contained with all the social media outlets, but it will also act as that database that each of the community members can have their own little shout outs, etc. You can have little categories that say, like an artist's corner of the website that features different artists. Maybe put up some kind of blog mechanism where people can write their own like art-based articles and all that kind of stuff. So essentially my goal, long-term goal, is to build a site that not only acts as a central hub for all our social media and information, it's also an image gallery for events. It's also kind of like a social media or media contribution hub for anybody who wants to add content, etc. So, it'll take a little bit of planning and a little bit of doing to make it as robust.
I actually, you might want to get in contact with Core Raven.
Yeah.
Because he had one already built, and at the very least, I think that he would have the code laying around somewhere.
Sure. Well, yeah, no. Either way, like I said, my job before I came out here to Utah was building database, like server systems and websites and all that kind of stuff, from the ground up. So. Either we use existing code or create one from scratch. To be honest with you, based on my previous experience, it's almost easier to build something from scratch rather than try and adapt something.
Right. No, I know how that works.
Yeah.
What did you do over here? Fuck, I don't know.
Yeah. What's the old saying goes in programming is, the worst code you ever saw is the one who did it before you.
Did we hit Mystic's question there?
The one that just came in?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How would we go about hiring and entrusting people with accounting and such?
I guess
that's like the most awkward question that could have been asked.
I think it's just like you would with any business. You do interviews, hiring processes.
See what they have behind them to give them a reason to.
And if necessary, legal documentation.
So as you can see, this definitely does open a whole new can of worms.
Yeah.
Basic business workings.
So as far as accounting goes, in my mind, the more people who have eyes on it, the better. And I think as a nonprofit, you're required to be visible in terms of your accounting. And so anybody in the community can see it. And so if something's happening, if that were unfortunate event were to take place, it should be visible enough for everybody to see what's going on.
To be able to figure it out.
That's something that you would discuss in the board meetings too, what the current state of accounting is, if everything's checking out. Any other questions? Statements, comments?
I do have one question regarding the nonprofit thing, but I'm not sure if I understand nonprofit stuff enough to be able to really contribute. But my question is, regarding how Minnesota got revenue through selling badges, how are we going to be able to bring in revenue?
And what is the limit since we're a nonprofit?
These are, well, like you say, merchandising or anything that you do to generate funds. I guess I don't know if I understand your question on that, but you can do whatever you want. There's no real limit on it.
It might be like a one-time use, but there's still other things you can do to make more profit.
It's less how much money you make and more what you use it for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm thinking fundraising raffles or fundraising deals with other companies. That's the only thing I can really think of as on that matter.
The LAN party thing that I mentioned earlier, that is a way that we could raise funds. We could sell T-shirts for the group. Could sell badges. There could be.
I don't want to use this terminology because it's probably very inaccurate, but charity live stream.
Yeah, if people wanted, if we held a live stream where people were doing stupid stuff on camera and people wanted to donate to make people do stupid stuff on camera, that's totally viable.
So basically, what I'll refer to you.
Absolutely.
Already are, guys.
Ouch. Untrue.
Kefa, sorry, go ahead.
One thought that I keep on having when we're mentioning nonprofit is I'm actually thinking back to BLFC, particularly last year. I don't know if they did this year. They generated enough money to keep the con going for another year, and a lot of any extra that was any extra cash flow that didn't immediately go to the Grand Sierra by the nature of how things were happening. A lot of it went towards charity, like the it's out in the middle of nowhere in Nevada. I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was like an animal.
Well, that was the same one as this year. It's
Same one as this year?
I can never remember the name of it.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they're in Imlay.
Yeah, so basically that's called a benefiting charity. So when you have an organization that's a non-profit, when you start to use some of your profits to go towards another charity, that's considered a benefiting charity.
Okay. So I'm just, every single time somebody brings up non-profit, it's like, we might make more, but as long as we keep that for the use of continuing events and not actually going back towards people in charge or going towards members, that's the...
Well, if it was going towards organizers or members, that's illegal?
Yeah, I know, that's my point. It's like, it wouldn't be non-profit anymore after that point.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine to spend it towards events that are related to the particular community or the non-profit organization, but anyone who works for that institution does so as a volunteer, being a non-profit.
All right, making sure.
Yep.
And in the future, when we do have that kind of funds, we could supposedly rent or even buy like small buses that we could use to help with carpooling.
Well, that's the goal, to eventually have a pool to dip into to use for events, transportation.
To step up the level of whatever we're trying to do.
Exactly.
And I know this is way out in the future, but I think it might be a pretty neat idea to have like a community center that we could hold like quarterly meetings, or even just for people to use as some kind of safe house. Because I know there are a lot of people in the community that would need some kind of safe house.
There's lots of possibilities that it opens up.
I know.
Just add the word potluck to the end of any event and guarantee people showing up.
A lot of people showed up yesterday.
Yeah, quarterly hot and potluck.
Yes.
Ooh, wow.
Really wanted
You
to
almost
be there,
should do
but
that.
moving is taking.
Offer pizza for quarterlies?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, jeez. See, and that would be something that the nonprofit would be okay for. See, because part of the difficulty, I'll just use Slough as an example. Part of the difficulty of running Slough is that all comes out of Meg and I's pocket. So if we don't have enough money one year, well, it's not happening. But if we were a nonprofit corporation, we'd have a pool of money that was accounted for and all of that. We'd be able to dip out of that instead of our own pockets. Earlier, Kefa asked if there was a minimum frequency for donating art to be considered an active member.
That would have to be defined as we're setting everything up. That's just the way that Minnesota does it. We don't have to do what they do, but I like that thought because it encourages people to be active in our group, and in any way that we can make people feel more value out of their time is good.
Okay, so if we were to make a mascot just for the U2F2, if we do a nonprofit, would we be able to submit ideas of the character and have the community choose who we want to be the face of U2F2?
Yeah, and it could be a fictional character like Ray. Before they dissolved and sold the IP, they owned the rights to Roki, which was the furry unlocked Anthrocon raptor design, which they then sold to, I think, Rabbit Valley's the current owner of that IP.
Sorry.
Real quick.
Sorry. I will not use a rat with wings as our mascot.
Wow. I think you offended some particular personas here.
Well, it's a good thing there are no known seagulls in our community.
Just for Moss's benefit in the Discord while Nico changes my name back. Moss, basically the 4 main topics that we covered so far is consent and liability forms. These are going to be blanket forms that... What are you laughing at? What did he change it to? No? This is what happens when admins get too much power.
What happens when you give cats too much power?
Cat over the switch.
Are we all canon up here?
Yes.
You're not canon.
Hey!
Puma.
He's a fox,
It's
technically.
crows. No.
Have you given it up?
I'm kind of, yeah, I kind of am.
Let me just recap from us here. So, Moss, the 4 topics that we just discussed before we just went on to the most recent stuff was consent and liability forms. These are going to be finalized by... Well, they are finalized, aren't they? A link was just posted in Discord if you scroll up, and these are basically blanket consent and liability forms that you only need to sign once, and they will give you the ability to attend virtually a limitless number of events because they will cover anything going forward. It also concludes consent for anyone who is between the ages of 16 and 17. The main important point there was that everyone use their real name and details because it will actually be a legal form. The second topic Oaken brought up was the non-profit status, which a lot of us were just discussing now. Oaken spoke to some furs over at BLFC and got quite a few ideas there. We are then going to move on to meet ideas and the current schedule. But that's basically what we covered so far.
Unless anybody wants to take the floor right now, bring up any comments, recommendations, or anything you want to talk about.
Meow.
Thank you.
Cool. All right.
Glad I could contribute.
Woof.
So I'll kind of take over for what we're doing for our current schedule and for meet ideas. I'm going to start with current schedule, just because that's on my mind right now. So right now we've got next week for the 26th we have escape rooms going on, and I have posted the forum to sign up for that. It is price is $10 to do an escape room per person, and yeah, because I managed to get a wicked discount with Castle of Chaos and got prices 15% or 50% off. So
The 26th, what day of the week is that?
that's a Saturday.
It's actually the day I get the keys to my apartment.
All right, and so I was actually able. Yeah, $10 is. I don't think you'll be paying for an escape room cheaper than $10.
Because I'm putting my rent.
Because. But so we have the form for that.
How many days in advance do you need payment in?
I could pretty much take payment up to the day of.
Okay.
Where and how and like how?
So I have it right now. I have you. There's a couple ways. Technically, I'm sort of like paying for it myself, and then you guys are kind of reimbursing me.
That makes sense.
So you could essentially either pay me via PayPal or cash. I'll take that, and then I just have you on the list. Again, I'm paying.
I'll take that.
Yeah. It's basically right now I have 6 people going right now, and so I want to get about like 30 people is my goal.
So I'll probably talk
So I have the link on. Yeah, I'm trying to get that right now. I have the link on Telegram and Facebook and Meetup,
So we'll figure something.
and
out for you.
I am going to send it over to Tatsu right
Charizard.
now. Just gotta find the link. Here's the link.
Guess we'll see.
That's a link. And I have a link.
A link for you? A link for you.
Yes,
A
man.
link for you. A link for the people. Okay, so that is what's coming up next week. I just want to advertise that because I want to get a good amount of people going to that. I'm shooting for about like 30 is what I'm shooting for.
Now, is that how many people would be in the escape room at once?
No,
I didn't think so.
there is 10. It's a max 10 per room, and then you can. We have. I have booked out 3 rooms. I could probably, if I have to, if I don't get as many people, I can. I can probably like cancel room, but we have. They have they have the serial killer escape room. They have the pirate one, which is the captain's booty. Yeah, and then we also have the paranormal escape room, which And so
There's
on
two
that
of them.
on that form you
One
can
try.
you can request which one you want to do. So
What if you're like, maybe this, maybe that?
it's a checkbox, so you can request
Check
multiple.
multiple.
It's like a university admissions thing. If you don't get your first preference, you'll get the next one.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So that's the escape rooms, and then on the week after that, June 2nd, we're gonna do our arts and crafts meet, and that is going to be. I just now booked the room for that. It's gonna be at the Riverton Library, same place where we did our Jackbox meet.
Hope y'all like friendship bracelets.
Rave candy.
So I'm gonna do something similar. It's gonna be that one. How I want to run it is I want to run it where it's gonna be similar to a potluck, where it's like instead of bringing food, you're bringing arts and crafts supplies. So it's like I probably will have a sign up for bring arts and crafts stuff.
Can I bring up the
What about an arts and
lead
crafts
idea
food?
from
Oh yes, and then social. Yep. Yes.
Can I bring up the panel lead idea?
Sure. I think I know what you're talking about.
At like a library or something.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sure. For like. So.
Play-Doh.
So one of the other cool ideas I got from the Minnesota group in terms of types of meets they do, and I'd kind of like to get some help from the community to run it here. Basically, they do panels as meets, so they'll get somebody who maybe is an expert in, I don't know, voice acting, or like Abby was talking about, kind of got me.
She wants to do
got me the idea.
kind of a character development sort of class panel thing.
And whatever people are really interested in and feel like they want to present to other people in. Basically, I just want to kick off a panel series for the community. We'll provide a place, probably a library, where we can get together and talk about how, whatever it is you like, what you want to do. So
That'd be really cool.
So if you're interested in presenting on something like that, get in contact with me and we'll start putting that together and organizing those.
Okay.
You know that.
Yeah, and so, and then kind of moving on, one idea that we've discussed is changing sort of a way that we're doing sort of free and paid meets, and that is, well, we still have just like the regular venue paid meets that we do, and those ones, because it's easier to do things, but it's easier to do fun things when money is involved. So thus paid events kind of tend to be more the preferred sort of activity, and free events kind of can get a little difficult at times, because it's like trying to make an event on just not having money is kind of tricky. And so we decided to change the free meets and consider them socials. And sort of that allows it to give the connotation of it's more of like a meeting with furries, like meeting at a park or meeting at a coffee shop. And it's like beforehand it's like oh, that's not really, and like beforehand that might not have been considered like an event. It's like, oh, we're just hanging out and doing things. Well, it's like, well, maybe that's the point. Maybe that's what we want to do.
There's really not a lot of physical activities you can do, minus maybe things that someone bring with them when they went there, but there's not a lot of things you can do, sadly, in this world for free.
And usually what ends up happening is like free meets have lately just sort of kind of end up being meets where it's free for everyone else, and then the admins gotta pay for things, kind of a thing.
Which we're okay doing.
Which we're okay with, like, contributing.
Wait, why didn't you say that before?
No.
Wait.
It's voluntary.
You just wanted to vote in a fourth person to foot the bill.
Yeah. But well, luckily we're trying to change that. So it's like we're making the free meets more just socials, in that you're able to like meet up with, and they're probably not going to be as big as, they're probably also going to be smaller and not as big as like the meets where we're actually going and paying money to do things.
I think for new people too, it kind of gives them the sense that, hey, I'm new to this group and I'm going to go to the social so I can meet people.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Because if they go to a meet where you're like at the zoo and you're walking around the zoo, it's hard to talk to people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Well, that's I'm pretty sure that's how quite a few of us ended up joining, was like via the Watchtower.
Yeah,
That's,
my
that's
first
kind of a
game
social
was
thing
game
too.
night.
Yeah, game night, the Watchtower game nights, and that because that's very much a social thing, and we do board games at the same time, and so we're probably going to make that more of the idea behind the free meets and calling them social meets, and it could be something, and then it could be something along the lines of we go to a park, we go to a coffee shop.
Oh no.
Whoa. Or we go to, lately it's been a thing of doing a thing at, and we rent out a room at the library, which is not really a rent because it's free, and we hang out and maybe do things in a library situation, which is what we're doing for our next one, which is the arts and crafts one. So, yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at. That's what we're kind of looking to go for as before we start. And it's like, and I wanted to get that out before we start coming up with ideas for meets. Is just that's kind of the idea that we're going for. So essentially what that is like, what's a cool place to hang out? Is kind of the idea. Is what we're looking for those social meets. Is where's a cool place to hang out? Where here is like a neat sort of area to just kind of hang out and potentially allow fursuits to happen or that kind of thing, or even just hang out and meet people and stuff. So.
I think I'll just do that.
The only other big event, there's probably other events. I think the art festival's coming up too, but the next big Utah event is Pride. So we'll probably put something together for that. If you would like to participate in the parade, get with you.
Chris Allen. Anime Bonsai has invited the furries to walk with them on their float. They've done this many times. I'm told it's usually a blast.
It's awesome.
There is a post somewhere on Facebook, but I'm sure Facebook's algorithm has buried it. So I'll probably ask Chris to post again before the actual event. As a matter of fact, I'll just ask him to post right now, and you can get with Chris Allen to walk with Anime Bonsai. Everybody noticed the voice crack.
What do we call that? Testy pops or something?
Testy pops.
Yeah.
Testy pop. That's an Australian term. Welcome. Because if you
Anime Bonsai wants furries to walk with them in the Pride Parade, so I'll go ahead and get that set over right now.
Hey Tatsu, who's Chris Allen?
Chris Allen is one of the what is going on? Chris Allen is one of the organizers for Anime Bonsai. I don't know his exact position, but I can probably get that in just a moment. I'm going to send him a message in just a sec here.
Okay. Yeah, and
So for those that don't want to participate in the parade, we'll probably do something like what was it Pix that did the free hugs meet in Ogden?
Yeah.
I think that would be a lot of fun to do
Valentine's Day meet.
at Pride. So we'll probably do that for everyone else that doesn't want to do the parade.
Mm-hmm. Or just can't make it to the parade.
Sure.
I don't think I can, because it's on a Sunday and I'm always working on Sundays.
Sure.
As of recently. So let's jump into coming up with meet ideas then, and I will get my page up here for that. All right. Do we want to start with? Yeah, if you just if you want, just write on the board. Good. Do we want to start with paid or do we want to start with socials? I have paid first thing on here because I don't know. What is your idea? We'll start with whatever your idea is.
It's likely a social meet.
Okay, so then we'll start with socials.
My idea is like a field day. Just go to some park and plan out a bunch of activities to do.
Mm-hmm. And just kind of all right. And
capture the flag.
Mm-hmm.
Fun stuff.
Frisbee.
I'd be scared of that. I do have an ultimate frisbee and a bunch of different cones at home. I've got 10 of them. I personally love ultimate frisbee. I'd be more than willing to hold one of those.
Field day
cones.
potluck. That one's reasonable.
It's true. It's true.
As far as cool places to hang out, Draper Historical Park is a good place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one's pretty popular. That one we've done a lot of fursuit meets at that one before.
Where again?
Draper Historical.
Oh, okay.
It's a smallish park and it's got a big old dome pavilion in the middle of it. Don't.
No comment.
We should go back to Lodestone Park.
Lodestone.
Okay.
Yeah, that place is real cool.
I forget what's so great about it.
I want to say bonfire, but I want to do that
Bonfire
monthly
potluck.
while it's warm.
Mm-hmm.
During the
Yes.
summer.
Makes sense.
Like, we could start doing that this month. Cause
Probably.
The,
I think
the nights are
reservation-
definitely starting to get warmer.
I think Mill Creek opens up in June, but we could probably sneak up there again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Up there,
just
not
illegally
in
trespass.
where we can actually park when they have the parking open and we're not walking up and down
A mountain.
the mountain, yeah, over and over again.
I felt so
Wait.
sorry for the guy that had the wheelchair.
Oh,
Hiking.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Hiking.
Hiking.
Not hiking.
It's a bonfire potluck.
I mean, everybody did
Just put
bring
potluck under social.
their hot dogs and
But we can't do game
We
night.
kind of, yeah.
The United Potluck
No,
Fandom.
yeah, you're
That's our
right.
new name.
No, yeah.
Mark my words, I'm bringing a salad.
There was a bonfire last November.
Yes.
Shy. Does that work?
Cool.
What?
Okay.
What I miss?
I'll just put a star next to everything.
I don't know. Are there any other neato parks?
How about Antelope Island?
Ooh.
Well, we've got a
That's
meet going
smelly.
on. Yeah, we do.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
We've got a meet. That's our paid meet for.
Oh, shit.
For sure.
Oops.
Well,
Yeah.
well,
That's our June paid meet because
UFC was a long con.
yeah, because well, it's like I said it as a free meet, but I
The bonfire's
went
supposed
and
to keep
did a
you
little
warm.
research. It costs money to go to get onto the island, so
Oh,
I'm
cool.
like,
Yeah, there's a gate fee. I think it's 10.
Which island?
There's
it's
No.
per car. It's like yeah, it's per car. So if you pack a bunch of furries
Depends
in
on
a
which
car,
day you
it's
go.
cheaper for
Sometimes they're
people.
just not there at the boom house.
Oh really?
Yeah, the last 2 times I went, I've just been like, hello? Honestly, it's random.
It's really weird and interesting. Okay. Well, I checked on the website and it said that it cost money to get in, so I went. All right, I guess now it's a paid meet thing. But if not, I guess
Hey,
cool.
If it's not a paid meet, and it just becomes free.
it comes.
Do you know the cool
Quote.
thing about Liberty Park is it's right near that gelato ice cream place on 9th and 9th?
Yes, I love that
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
Liberty Park. We haven't. I don't know.
If you
Has there
wanna
been a
sit down.
meet recently at Liberty Park? Or is it
No,
been a
we haven't had a meet at Liberty Park for
Oh my god, that was before
4
I was admin.
years because we got so burnt out on Liberty Park it wasn't even funny.
Oh
Oh.
no.
I can't remember. I think we met in October.
Pineview Reservoir.
Okay.
That's-
Going back to the
That
Peace
really would
Gardens
be
was
just-
fun. That place
Weight
was great.
training, though. Yeah, weight
Yeah, I'm
training
kind of
is
sad I missed
carrying these
the meet for that
things.
because I had to
That's
work
so-
because
I mean, it's
BLFC
really
was
good
the
for
next.
Photography spot.
Is there anything free up in Park City that anybody's aware of? That'd be fun to go up there.
Say again.
Anything free, like hangout wise in Park City?
The only problem is it costs money to
Park
get to
City?
Park City.
Yeah, that's true.
It also costs money to park
Yeah.
and exist.
Yes.
True.
Is the air free too, or do you have to pay
No,
for that?
Park City Air is
You
not
gotta pay for
free.
sunscreen because of the altitude? It's terrible.
Do
we have any first that live in Park City?
Yes.
Yes.
I haven't met Mark.
Hunter moved up there
I
for
didn't
work.
know.
Because yeah, he does.
Neptune Park. Mystic, where is Neptune Park? How far down are you?
Just before Uranus.
Really?
It's in Utah County.
Okay.
Very
I thought that
descriptive.
said Sabotage Springs.
Let's add a counter. How many times can I glare at Chrono?
Well, I think you've done it like 4 times.
It's been more
Not
than
even
4.
that.
He's
Why
saying
you like-
otherwise.
Wait. No, I used the wrong term. Never mind.
He lives in the middle of BFE, but that's I feel like we
BFE
don't
is
do
great. Okay, let me all tell you a story about BFE.
Oh no.
Frickin' northern Provo? Yes, northern
Empire?
Utah. Okay? If you decide to go when it forks, if you decide to head towards Saratoga Springs instead of Provo, there's this awesome dock area called Pelican Point. And Pelican Point has like this closed off dock area. Like you have to go past these walls to actually get out onto Utah Lake, which is now poisonous. So this is a terrible idea. I forgot that Utah Lake was now poisonous.
How is Utah Lake poisonous?
There is a
Poison algae.
outbreak up there, and you can't even swim in the water without
Dying.
Contracting.
Yeah,
something.
it's bad.
Well, I've only lived up here for less than a year, so I didn't know this.
It's a good thing I'm
How
home
about
now.
how about hang out at the mall?
Mall walk.
Which there's
Like, I mean, I get it, I do.
You got all the food and
But at the same time, I'm looking at you like, what year is it? Are we gonna dress in like all black but with light
Yes.
t-shirts and skateboard through the halls
Yes.
too? Okay, all right.
bring your Heelys, of course.
oh my gosh, yes.
Which
Was
mall
it somebody
though?
did somebody requested
We could do
last time
Gateway,
the
Fashion
Gardner
Lights,
Village,
City Tree.
which
my
I
gosh,
don't know
I
if you
love
guys
that
know where
house.
that is. It's like I live like down the street from it apparently, as I found out. But it's kind of this interesting thing in the
got a lot of little
River
shops.
Valley area. Yeah, it's got a bunch of little shops there.
Which
Huh?
is?
If we went to a mall walk,
Gardner
would we
Village?
be able to
Oh, yeah,
see
yeah, yeah.
Nonprofit organization, yeah. It's very
Probably
rare
not.
that you'd be able to go into a mall.
Except
in
at,
fursuit.
at Halloween, they
hard
might
part.
let you do it. But
Well, I guess all of the socials don't necessarily have to be technically fursuit friendly, but
Well, essentially, if you end up becoming non-profit hypothetically, and you
Easier
just
to
do
do
a
those
charity
things.
events, you could do a charity thing for people.
I think going into the planetarium is free if you just go there.
Yeah, the Clark Planetarium entrance. There's no entrance fee for that. If you want to watch some of the movies, though, I think you have to pay for the
Then there's a
tickets.
cost, yeah.
They do appreciate donations, but I'm just putting that out there.
I'm just thinking places that would be good photography spots, including Gardner Village. by
right,
the
yeah,
way.
this kind of like opens up a whole lot because basically it's like now we're not only are we looking for it's less of things to do but more places to go. Oh, the places you'll go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is
how about go to the top of the Kennecott mine? There's that outlook over there.
that
Yeah. You drive up Butterfield Canyon if you're coming from Salt Lake
somebody
City.
mentioned, well, we've had people on both sides of the digital wall mention Clark Planetarium being cool to wander around. So.
Sure.
Okay. I got a whole list of. Normally we don't have this big of a list for
The
that.
free meats, right?
I blame Chrono.
No,
The social, sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
maybe the change of terminology helped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It it's just like a different. It's a different kind of way of thinking about it. Exactly. Yeah. Which is what I thought was a good idea.
Field days on
Good
fire.
boy. Are we gonna have missionaries now?
We
No.
could do a weekend camp
No,
out.
please, no.
Say that again.
A weekend camp out.
That would potentially cost money.
Deck actually has a fuzz camp.
Yeah, he does. Nothing.
Deck's fuzz camp is. Let me open my calendar.
I'm trying to imagine like
It's like,
furries
I think
basically
the
doing
8th
the same
and the
thing
9th.
as the Mormons do.
Something
just
like that. It's
walking
next
around
month.
with Suits on the tail.
Yes, so
Going up,
Deck's
going
Fuzz Camp is the 8th through the 10th of June. There is a Telegram chat for that. There is a cost, but that's because he's feeding you.
Mm-hmm.
So, Deck has this super huge, awesome thing planned out, and this is the third iteration of it. So,
Third
I can't
year.
imagine that the previous two were bad if there's a third one.
Right. They were.
The
I've been to both of them.
Oh, I
They're
think he's
really
kind
quite
of going
good.
all out, so I think the cost is 20, but let me double check.
Where's
Yeah.
the location on that?
Location's going to be
Middle
at
Canyon.
Middle Canyon in Tooele. Thule.
Tula.
Well, it doesn't. It's
All right, here's a test. How Utah are you?
Oh,
Hey!
Chrono spelled Tooele right.
You're all tools.
That's not easy.
doesn't help
so-
when I first came here that there's a place in Nevada called Tule Springs.
And apparently it's also in Panama.
It's spelled almost the same except there's an E missing.
I heard somebody pronounce Syracuse sewer squeeze, so you're not.
Sewer squeeze.
What?
I'm not kidding.
That yeah. But that E between the O and the L is missing in Tule Springs.
Let's just not try and spell Wollongong the Australian way.
Oh, yeah.
W-O-O-L-L-O-M-O-O-L-O-O.
Is there
One
anything
more
I can-
time
is
for
that-
good measure.
is that Mississippi?
The city
Basically
founder was
Mississippi.
dyslexic.
But okay, so all right, so we've got a bunch of socials on there. Do we wanna talk about? Oh, what?
Sorry, keep talking.
Okay.
An idea.
So yeah, for paid
Your
meets,
note taking
things.
is fucking
I
gorgeous.
had an idea.
I want another laser tag one because I didn't get to go to the last
Only
one.
one M though.
Same.
You want another laser tag? Laser tag's
I
fun.
do. I didn't get to go to the last one. I was
There's
annoyed.
a few
Thank you,
different
Tetsu.
laser
He likes
tag
real
places
life first
out
Mini
there.
golf.
Shooters. I do.
Somebody asked for both.
I do
of
too,
you.
to be fair.
So along
I don't
the
play
lines
many,
of
like,
mini golf.
Video
VR
game
arcade and
ones.
or.
So what are some things, since this is a summer month, what are some things we can only do in the summertime?
Yeah,
So there's
that's true.
top golf that we could go do. It gets cheaper the more people you bring
Lagoon.
along with you because you split the cost between everyone.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I was gonna say if you
Theme
split the cost
park,
with
lagoon.
Lagoon, that would be interesting.
I may be able to get a discount for Top Golf.
Oh,
neat.
cool.
Oh yeah.
Lagoon.
Yeah, you
water
can.
parks, this
It
kind of
wouldn't be a
dance.
first
do the
Lagoon?
car
Oh, you got it?
wash.
Okay. There was one over here. Somebody said something?
You put up
is this
like
underpaid
Lagoon,
now?
Seven Peaks.
Yes.
Okay.
Theme Park.
Theme park, okay.
Water park as well. Because again, summer, it's hot.
How about a water park, phone?
I have one right by my. I have one right by my work.
So maybe let's
Make
group
sure
Lagoon
there's a lot
as
of
like
sunscreen
Lagoon
going.
slash theme park slash
don't
water
need
park.
it.
Okay.
And then if it gets to that, we can nail it down.
Yay. See, I don't want to do two parks. I like two theme parks. I think one's good enough.
I wear a watch too often.
I'm working on my driver's license.
We've had the Thea's hosted a water park meet, and it's less about fursuits than just hanging out. Yeah, because I mean, it's like with paid meets, it's like it's more about fun things to do, and not necessarily about.
The social
Yeah.
gathering, perhaps. As
How about
People you've
if
met
we can
in
get it,
between this.
Timpanogos tour.
That'd be cool.
We've done it. We've also yeah.
Want to do that
How do you spell that?
Timp and
Yeah,
Ogus.
there we go.
And O.
G-O-U-S.
Which we should turn into innuendo immediately.
Yes.
Hey, you want to go Timpanogos?
What is that? Like doing it in a cave?
It's like golf
Probably.
tipping.
It's like golfing. What?
What?
We haven't done a temp. We haven't.
The
Cow
Space
tipping.
Center.
Holy crap, that did not come out right.
Space Center.
Golfing somehow?
Mystic brought up the Space Center.
It's in Lehigh.
Oh, is that the thing where you are? It's like essentially a live action Star Trek.
What?
Yes. No.
No.
It's in Pleasant Grove.
Okay.
Yes. Mystic said yes.
Yeah, live action Star Trek.
Yo.
Would they let us do it in suit?
Maybe.
That would be great.
That's a phone call.
Yeah, that's a phone call.
Do it now.
How much? I want to see how much it costs.
We could do a trip to the Leonardo, check out their latest.
Just imagine that. On the
Leonardo.
board of the
As well
starship.
as
with a bunch of
the
birds.
Natural History Museum.
Beautiful.
Like
I
I've
love it.
been seeing a lot of ads about the Natural History Museum, like regarding animals, and I'm really curious.
Oh, the
Oh,
are you
the
talking about
aquarium
the
as well.
Natural History
Yeah.
Museum?
Didn't we actually do a
Salt Lake
recent
City here?
aquarium visit?
No, I don't think so. It's just aquariums, kind of.
$20 a pop.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Well, well, it's like to be fair, so would have the escape rooms been if I didn't get that discount.
True.
So.
But that's fun.
I see what you mean. Let's see. Okay, so there. What did you say that I like
Mini golf?
forgot? No, you said mini golf. Okay.
That's fursuit friendly.
Mini golf's fursuit friendly. There was something else somebody said. That somebody. I don't think so.
There was a. Do we have a VR arcade?
No, we don't have that.
VR arcade. Boondocks.
So we do have 2 new places that opened. It would be 21, but Dave and Buster's and Quarters.
Oh,
Oh,
Let's not do only 20.
not
plus
for
or
not for an
things.
official meet.
No,
yeah.
That would have to be a. I mean, if
That'd
you
be-
want to fill out a form,
Yeah. I like forms. They make things so organized. Are you guys sick of forms yet? Are you guys sick of them yet?
Here's the form to sign up future forms, and
Yeah, here's the form if you want to make a form.
And here's your form for your official ID.
Yeah.
oh boy, that would be.
That would be nice to have like
But they make
IDs
things
for
so
board
organized
members.
and helpful.
But
and I
I'm
love
sure
them
it
so
does,
much.
though.
That would be very expensive.
We need like furry.
$21 commission rate.
It's okay. I'm a furry.
Flip out that. So I'm gonna have to ask you to stop on the furry.
I don't know, but I feel like Oaken, you mentioned something that
just make one for myself.
That would be
you mentioned something,
Question
and I
here.
can't remember what it is you told me. Well,
Something kind of like fishing.
a fishing one.
Hot springs in the evening.
Okay.
Fishing.
So, well,
That seems
careful,
nice.
guys. Fishing.
Fishing.
Is that would that?
That would
be-
technically be a free meat if
Would
you
that
bring
be
your
free?
own box and tackle.
That's kind of
But
hard to do.
that's-
I don't feel like a lot of people in general would have their own box of tackle to start with.
You would be surprised. I know of at least 7.
Really?
Make that 8.
All right.
Fishing.
I stand corrected. I will
Fishing
shut
in a
up. I
place where you can
apologize.
cook what you catch.
I usually end up catching crawfish on accident, so that's a thing.
What hot springs? So would fishing be considered paid or free?
I'm gonna
Or
say
social?
paid
Okay.
because you need a license.
Yep.
There's equipment involved, and you usually have to travel.
Okay.
That's true.
Okay.
Summer thinks you could go rent canoes.
Okay.
Could probably do that.
Somebody somewhere is gonna want gas money.
Antelope's pretty dry.
I mean, that's for most of these things.
Salt Lake's
So.
pretty dry.
Yeah.
The Utah Arts Festival is the third week of June.
Oaken or
Yeah.
who, I don't remember who was really holding it.
Oh right, you said Leonardo. That's what it was.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I went to the Leonardo for the mummy exhibit a couple of years ago. It was awesome.
What did I suggest that's not up there? Natural History Museum.
Didn't work at least.
It's never bad.
They're not listening.
I can tell.
Actually, can I add to that? Yeah, we were talking between ourselves. Can I add to that if they heard the Natural History Museum?
Okay.
or-
The what?
Natural History Museum.
I thought you said Naturalist Museum.
Well, that would be quite a sight right there.
No, not that.
Natural History Museum.
Actually,
That's
no.
naughty.
One of
Through August?
This is going to be July, August, September.
Okay, they're still talking.
The state fair is in September.
Oh yeah, the state fair.
I've never been to Utah State Fair before.
It's not bad. It's
We could
really
get.
fun.
We could
I've
put up
helped
a photo
Castle
booth.
Chaos. I've helped run the
with
mini haunted house that
volunteers.
they put up at Castle Chaos.
I think
That's
the-
fun because basically I run half the haunted house and just constantly just get people, because how they set it up is it's basically a long hallway that goes like this, back, across, this, and back.
Hello, Hey Rider.
I'm sorry for the people who are listening who have no idea what I was just talking about right there. But essentially it's just like so basically it's like they have a long hallway that goes down and back, and then another one, and then it cuts across a courtyard and another long hallway that goes down and back, and basically in the middle is like your actor hallway, and you can just scare people like
All the way
constantly
down.
going out through one, and basically you just need 2 people to run the haunted house, one to get one side and one to get the other side, and and maybe somebody in the courtyard, but anyway.
Just to add
I
to it.
digress.
I think in August the main Utah Renaissance Fair is happening.
I think I just
Ooh,
figured that out
Renaissance
for a
Fair.
weather plan.
Those are always
Yeah.
fun. That sounds
Is
fair.
that paid? Everybody loves
It
that.
would
Oh, wow.
definitely be a
Yeah,
big pay.
there is.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't
There's a
know these
perfect
things,
weather
so-
plan right here.
Yeah.
It's because it's where
Just gotta make
all
sure you
the
reserve
state's
it.
white trash goes.
But
Yeah,
luckily
that's okay.
Tuesdays are not the busy days to reserve here. Luckily I was able to get the Riverton one in
I
time.
was gonna say with the Natural History Museum of Utah, I was thinking, I don't know exactly if he's a scientist who happens to be doing research there, or if he's actually part of the staff, but he's a furry,
Okay.
and I was wondering if he was at BLFC actually. I'm not sure if anybody saw him. Brian Stegeter? I can't remember how to pronounce his name. Dinosaur guy. Did anybody see him while he was there?
Brian.
Nico?
No.
What was
No,
his,
not
what,
Sta-
what,
no, no,
what was
no,
his,
he's a
what was his persona name?
It's give me a minute. Let me pull him up.
Okay.
It's
You do that.
But he's got a coyote. He's a hyena sona. But anyway, let me.
So he'll laugh at all my jokes. Good.
Finally.
That took me a
Because I
little
don't.
bit. That took me just a little too long.
Is this maybe one of the very first?
Brian Swedick. Did anybody?
Brian Swedick.
And then his furry self is Riley Black Cat. Did anybody see him at BLFC?
That does sound a little familiar.
He had an entire table at BLFC, which was dinosaur fossils and a bunch of art.
I know I've heard of Riley Black Cat.
That'd be a great connection to make.
Yeah, it's but one thing though is that he's a furry. I was wondering, it's a very up in the air thing, but if I could contact him and say, hey, U2F2 is looking to do paid events. I know that it is a paid event to get into the history museum. But if you could talk to him, if he's part of staff, it's a whole bunch of things that are going through my brain right now. I know I'm probably talking too fast for people in chat, but it would be really cool. There's a lot of animal-based events that usually happen at the history museum. If we timed it, it would be pretty darn cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm trying to bring up.
Yeah, I found his Facebook profile. And yeah, he's a freelance science writer, is what it says here.
He does stuff at Natural History Museum occasionally too.
Yeah.
I think they sell his books there. Is one of the things that they do. Never mind in that case, but still, kind of a connection I was making.
Okay. Hide and seek at IKEA. Okay.
What?
I can't.
That would be fun.
That's a social if ever I've heard of it. And then I can go and say hi to all my old coworkers, and they can be wondering what the heck I'm doing
behind
there.
the couch, just. Hey, how's it going?
How about an IKEA haunt?
Huh?
An IKEA haunt.
Oh,
It already is a haunt.
yeah.
IKEA is a giant.
Oh no! I put my leg on you.
Did you turn it off?
I think I turned off your computer.
Son of a bitch.
No! Well, Discord's down for a second.
Okay.
IKEA is escape the room.
We do have this.
Did we miss a...
What?
What about the Fifth Water Hot Springs?
Can they still hear
Sorry,
us?
the hot springs. We've actually done a few hot springs. Which one were you suggesting?
Fifth Water?
What the hell?
Say that again.
Fifth Water?
Fifth Water. Whereabouts is
Walk in here with a kilt and a dragon? What the hell?
I just came from the Renaissance Fair.
Oh.
Sorry, saying?
So it's a shame that Discord is down right now, because that would have been
Spanish
great fun for
I
them.
accidentally bumped my leg on top of your
Well, the hot springs was a very successful event we did. Where was our last hot springs event?
Crystal Hot Springs.
That was Crystal Hot Springs, and your one was
The
Fifth
question
Water.
is,
It's
does
what you
Discord
just
know
typed
the
to.
Discord is down?
water.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back.
I think
It's all Tom's fault.
I think we should put that under
So,
like
Palm sat on my computer and it turned off.
Sort of.
We have one
I just happen to be sitting like, huh?
We have one here.
The Renaissance Fair is happening August 24th and 25th. So that's where to go to.
Oh, you mean Renaissance Fair?
Renaissance.
Renaissance.
Yes.
Throw,
I was just about to say.
throw the arts festival
Yes.
on that.
Okay.
Just as
Wait,
potential
they still
group
can't
things.
hear anything, supposedly.
Man, it's amazing how many things there are to do in summer.
When there's no snow.
Uh-huh.
frankly, a lot of these
It's
can be
warm.
done at any time of the year, such as the aquarium, Space Center, I assume.
That's right.
Laser
No.
tag.
Bad idea.
What's the date that the fair is happening?
The 24th and 25th of August.
What?
Okay, it's working again.
Is the Discord chat being stupid?
What just happened?
Alright, so since we've left, we now have a man in a kilt.
Yeah, we do. That's true.
You know what? I should have came in my kilt anyways.
It's a shame we don't live over in Maryland because their Renaissance Fair goes for a month.
Mm-hmm.
It's only fair their state flag is the jousting flag.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm coming in my kilt. One
Isn't
of
like
these
their state
days
flag
to
a
meeting.
combination of like
Probably game night.
2 city
Yes,
flags?
this week I'm gonna do it.
It's their original.
I
original
opened the can of worms. I'm sorry,
They kept
guys.
it.
I'm wearing it this week to game
Alright.
night.
All right, so we had a couple of hot springs, Crystal, which we did last time. We also have Fifth Water, which
I
was
do remember the
suggested
Crystal
here.
Hot Springs. Wasn't that one that almost
She
like
says that
repeated?
that one has no entry fee.
Which one?
Though we
I
should
think
probably
so.
confirm this.
I
Is it just like a hike up kind of place and you sit and there's hot springs there? Is that the one that's in Spanish Fork? Ah,
There's
yes.
a lot of hiking spots that lead, hiking trails that lead to
Ooh.
really nice swimming spots.
Yeah.
There's the The Holly Festival of Colors.
Ooh, that would be fun.
The Holly Festival of Colors?
Mm-hmm. It's
Throw
essentially,
chocolate
it's if you haven't heard of it, it's essentially just one giant, I don't know, dance party. I guess it kind of depends on where you go. Where at like each hour you've got powders of.
Oh, like the color run.
The color powder, yeah,
Color
exactly like
me
that
red.
as well. And you literally just throw powder, and you end up tie-dyed by the end of it.
Oh,
That's the
yay.
entire idea of it.
Don't bring your fursuit.
I know something
It
similar.
would honestly don't go first.
Yeah.
Because that, like, people tie-dye their shirts going there intentionally, and that stuff stays. So
Yeah.
no fursuit, not fursuit friendly, but
Unless that's the idea you're trying to do with your fursuit.
You've got
Just get a
pure white
completely
fursuit.
white fursuit and just be like, cover me.
That would be an amazing fursuit.
It's like no one's gonna copy
One of
this
the
color
common
scheme. Let's
things-
do this.
yeah. One of the common things I know, like the last time I went, which was a while ago, I'll admit, kind of similar to the overall furry community, hugs were given freely, pretty much. Like I walked in and I had a random person just
Yeah.
hug me.
So basically, what we do
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
is that
So it's a
literally you
really
walk in
fun
Watchtower.
event. I feel like it'd be fun to go to. It
Mhm.
would probably, it would be a paid meet,
Uh-huh.
but it is a lot of fun.
Okay, Holly Color Festival. I have it on there. Or Holly Festival of Color.
Yeah. I actually made a poster for it a while ago in graphic design. It was a
Neat.
cool thing.
Yeah, I know how it works because over at my high school.
what about
we did
some sort of
something
community
like
service
when the
event?
games are on in the hype.
Yeah.
it
Any
was,
specific one you think?
Maybe go
really
help at the
donating
food
cancer
Like-
shelter or something like that.
Or
Okay.
help at a community garden.
to tribute.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Like I could get in contact with my church and like I'm sure I could get plenty of suggestions of
Animal adoption event.
Yes, that is actually perfect. That's great.
That'd be a social thing, right?
Sorry?
Technically, yeah, those would be social.
An animal adoption event, because I'm willing to
Good.
bet that a bunch of people dressed up as animals would really help that.
Hmm?
I don't know why.
Like just
Sounds like a
great idea.
That's
There's,
actually happened here in Utah.
the-
I know
well,
of a
it's
few
like
furries who have gone
The
to
that
adoption
kind of bleeds
events
into like
with
the
heads
helping
up,
paws thing
and have
that
actually
he does. So.
increased event
Essentially.
attraction, basically. And
Yeah.
Adoption rate?
not adoption rate, but people actually showed up more, and
That makes sense.
That gets you more of a people stayed longer, which maybe they add up the adoption rate. I don't remember exactly, but a lot of people, especially the people who were hosting the adoption.
I think it's
Really,
because when
really
children see people dressed up in furry suits, they'll say, "Daddy, Mommy, I want one." Well, you can have the smaller one.
So you can't have that one. That's actually a person. That's called slavery.
That's not a person, Mom!
It's a giant dog.
I think that's
Look at it, it's so cute.
how
We're
awesome our
not
community
probably
is.
we'd probably not be helping the parents in that fursuit. We'd be like, oh.
And also, I think the animal adoption would be quite
So-
amazing for our group. So
Idea for a weekly meet, like we could do weekly hiking.
A weekly
As long as we
hiking.
don't freak out all
Didn't
the
we
parents.
try to do something like that?
Daiquiri did.
Yeah.
It's on the way.
Oh yeah.
It's funny that we mentioned that like adoptive event kind of situation because I know with Helping Paws we assisted with promoting the Strut Your Mutt event last year. I know Rue kind of put that together, and then everybody who was who had a fursuit and was able to put aside the time was able to show up and kind of just support the event, which was really nice.
Yeah.
Somehow I completely missed was that last year?
Yeah, that was.
I completely
October.
missed all the fursuits. How did I completely miss the present of fursuits last
We
year?
kind of.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we were all kind of were grouped together. We tried to spread out, but we were still kind of
like how
grouped together. We had we also had like specific locations we needed to be like.
Yeah.
We were like, let's go to the start line to
Starting
kick
line
it
and
off, and
finishing
then it's like
line.
let's now go to the finish line to bring everyone back in, kind of a thing.
And then breaking apart to kind of check out the festivities that
Also,
were occurring.
and also they wanted specifically dog fursuits, or
Yeah.
dog or wolf
Canine.
or fox.
So I gotta admit, all the dogs skiing.
There was a cat.
It's really funny.
A cat.
And we got
So no service.
We got a great picture of that though. All the dogs, coming up on Pride. Oh,
What is this?
the fear.
Good.
Every cat's nightmare is when there's like 18 dogs.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Skittles is already experiencing that with the 4 in the house currently.
No, that's QB's
right now?
Yeah. I guess.
That's Salt Lake City.
Oh.
All right.
That was like your logo. Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right, we're good.
We got a whole lot. So
fits
yeah, we've
there.
got a big old list of neat ideas, both social and paid. So
I've got one more.
one more.
One more.
One more.
That's it.
It's a
Your
very
mic is
small
screaming.
place, and it has a lot of kid-friendly
Oh.
activities. But the whole point of it, it would be a nice hike, really. But if anybody's been up to the Ogden Nature Center, they have a few rescued birds that you can go see. There's a few nice ponds and lakes that
Okay.
happen to be up
Is
around
this
the hike.
paid or social?
The thing is that it can be either, because on Saturdays it's free attendance,
Okay.
but they're closed Sundays, and on the rest of the week it's a paid entrance fee.
So we usually do these official events on Saturdays. So
I guess it would be
a social one.
social one.
All right. Well, what was that called? Ogden.
It'd be interesting if for those who want to actually see some birds, and it's also it's not necessarily a refuge, but it's a nature center. You're going to see lots of birds and bugs. I would not say that it's suit friendly.
Not suit friendly. Yeah. Okay.
In the sense that there's a lot that could get the suit dirty.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, if someone really wanted to, you could probably ask the place itself. Just
probably.
In case, but
What was this place called?
Would be
Yeah.
It was the Ogden what? What was it?
Ogden Nature Center.
Okay.
I just happen to be up there with a research project at the moment, but
We're at
still.
Cool, right?
Yeah. So we've got about like 20 minutes.
We got 20 minutes left.
All right.
So I think we've got plenty to vote on for the upcoming event votes. Is there anything you guys want to wrap up?
I think
Because God knows it'll take 20 minutes.
guess that means we're down to what we have coming up again.
Was it like 2
right? What we've got coming up.
Yeah, what do we have coming up?
Well, I'm actually kind of curious because wasn't there something else that was scheduled at 2 today?
There was a longboard meet. Oh.
Yes.
The Renaissance Fair up there. It was. I only seen one other person. I've seen one person in a suit. I had never seen her before.
Was it a white person?
Yeah.
It's probably KO.
It was a white cat. White cat fursuit.
Yep, it's KO.
Oh, okay, yeah, KO.
Yeah.
I'm seeing her
That was the
tonight.
only suit I seen there, and I applaud that individual because it was hot as hell. And there was
She went with Tethra, so there would have been like a ram with her that
Yep.
probably wasn't. Yeah.
He had his
In the suit.
half from hip down.
He decided to be a
satyr.
Satyr. Yeah.
Which worked.
That
quite
suit
well.
works really well as
Oh
a
my
satyr
gosh.
suit.
Yeah,
like,
what?
holy shit. So yeah, there was the furry longboard skateboard meet from 1 to 4 today. That was up in Ogden. There's this. I don't have anything
Yeah, I
written
thought it was
down,
like
but I
2
could
to
be
5.
out of date because I was at BLFC.
Wonderful.
Shame.
Is there anything else going on today that I don't know about?
No.
Something tonight, isn't there? No. I thought. Because
Does
there's
everybody somehow
literally
know about my
3 events on the U2F2 Facebook page.
That'd be this
The
one,
19th.
the fair, and the skateboard.
Oh, well then never mind.
Yeah, that's
I will shut up. I apologize.
Mystery Theater tonight. That's all I know.
Oh,
I failed. Yeah.
is that tonight?
Mystery Theater?
The event you made for that? Or is that next week?
No, I haven't. Well, I haven't made a Mystery Theater event. It's just the escape room.
Oh, that's next week.
Yeah, the escape room is next week. And if you want to stick around and also do some live action point and click adventure game afterwards, you can do that because that's fun.
What?
That did sound really fun when you mentioned it at the last quarterly.
Yeah, the Mystery Theater.
That sounds amazing.
Which is like, well, it's like I'm in this show's we're doing Princess Bride, and I'm in this show of I'm in this Mystery Theater. I play Count Rugen, the six-fingered man.
You bastard.
I killed Inigo Montoya's father. I must prepare to die.
Are you prepared to die?
Actually I am. I'm thoroughly prepared to die.
Wait, whoa. We're an uplifting community, Palm. We're an uplifting community.
Palm just
That does
went
put
from
a damper
atheist
on
to
the
nihilist.
relationship.
Oh yeah.
Disclaimer.
I'm thinking. In my head. I'm thinking of just how what we do in the show. I'm trying to not spoil in the show, but I kind of think I just sort of did.
I wasn't listening, so.
But,
I mean, if anyone has seen Princess Bride, they know.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know
I'm imagining almost at least 99% of this
spoiler.
room
Yeah. Spoiler.
itself has
Yeah.
probably
Phil,
seen
this is
it.
also Utah, so I feel like everybody here. So it's spoiler alert. If you
I've
haven't
seen
seen
it.
Princess Bride,
It says something.
I play Count Rugen, and in the movie, Count Rugen dies. So
By the way,
maybe just that might give you a hint.
Not before he runs like a bitch.
It's true. It's true.
You have to end this meeting with, now I've just sucked one afternoon of your life away.
One.
Not to 50!
I want my afternoon back, you bitch.
So I just want to poll the community right now, since we want to do bonfire meets during the summertime this year. What day do you think would be good for that?
Oh, gee.
Not during a con.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
Saturday night.
Which Saturday though? They're getting taken up.
Yeah, we're filling up
The next
Saturdays.
available one.
I mean,
The next available one.
Not the one.
Sunday.
So I guess is a Friday night or Saturday night better for y'all?
Not
Friday
me.
probably works better just for allowing all these other meets to take place without
Yeah, with,
conflicts.
like I said, it's like we're filling up our Saturdays. We're bleeding into Fridays now.
That's something.
Soon
I'm
we'll
not-
have
I personally
something on
have an
every
issue
day
with.
of the week.
I wouldn't.
I mean, the only thing that
That's
that
where
would
I have my problem.
it wouldn't work on a Friday mainly because like the potluck barely worked on a Friday mainly because
Signa says Tuesdays. Nothing fun happens on Tuesdays.
Because
I
perfect's not fun. No.
Thursdays.
I had an interesting Tuesday at work before.
You won't be saying that when you have a fun body at the end of it.
Ooh.
Wait.
Have you been shy?
Are you saying his body's not
Be
fun?
there this Tuesday.
It's like, and now on to another subject.
And now for something completely
Why doesn't this work? Why doesn't this work?
Maybe it does. Maybe they're hearing it on there. Maybe they're hearing it on Discord. I don't know.
They're definitely hearing the angry clacking.
No, just a general recap because
Angry
we do
keyboard
have
sounds.
some new people here. Like just a general recap of weekly events that happen. We have game nights, which happens Wednesday at 7 p.m. at the Watchtower Cafe. That is on State Street.
Mm-hmm.
We have Signa's Art Jam, which I believe Signa, if you can represent in chat, I believe it's 7 p.m. and that's at Mestizo's Cafe. 6 p.m. All right. 6 p.m. at Mestizo's Cafe. And then lastly,
He has verified.
yes.
With a yes.
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 And we have the weekly Fur Fit, which is every Tuesday, 6 p.m. at Big Cottonwood Regional Park. So,
Alright, now we need something for Monday and Thursday.
sorry? Now we need something for Monday and Thursday?
You know, if the tea party will go off as big of a hit as I think it will be, I would try to do it as a monthly.
When is your tea party?
It is next
Oh, no.
Thursday on the 24th.
Okay, cool. I didn't have it here.
Tea party, huh?
What is my Thursday?
That one was
look like?
because that one wasn't made on the
Oh.
Facebook page. It was
Sorry.
made in the Facebook group.
Gotcha.
What date is the escape room again?
26th.
And
May.
It's
This
going to be
month.
at
This
Murray
month.
Park Pavilion 1.
Next week.
Prairie Park Pavilion 1.
It's going to be
what time?
at 1:30.
And what date is the tea party again?
24th.
Thursday.
I am offering terrible ideas. I thought so.
So there was a mention of hiking.
Property, right? Shy.
Yeah.
It's basically
Do you wanna?
How does Sunday morning for hikes sound?
Ooh, I would not mind that.
What was that again?
Sunday morning for hiking.
Around what time?
How? What? Yeah, I was gonna say like.
Before it gets hot.
Yeah, it has to be a morning or an evening thing. It cannot be midday. Period.
True.
Because you're
Midday
still
you
going to
will
be
die.
bringing water.
And if you go too late in the evening, it's going to get dark on the way down the mountain. I've had that happen before.
Which can
Yeah,
be a
but then you'll have a
dangerous
lovely
thing.
view of the sunset.
If you're far enough away from all the city stuff in Utah.
Good luck with that.
There are some actual.
Chrono, get your
I'll have to
dried
bring that up
biscuits
later
outta
because I
here.
know we're running low on time. But
Real
there are a few.
scones.
There are a few
dark zones
I dig
in
it.
Utah where there are
Well, not
where
so
there
much
is
buttery.
regulated restrictions on light pollution, where you can actually see the Milky Way here in Utah.
Really?
Yeah. I will have to. I will.
We
talk
should
to-
host a meet and do that. 'Cause
I will.
would
I
love to
will
see
host a meet for that. I will go to Weber State. I will talk to the
No.
professors who know, and I will see what details I can.
Seriously, whatever can help prove the Earth is flat.
Flat Earther! I love how Oaken totally just pointed him to leave right after being okay with him having
There's
his
the
event.
door.
Like,
You're done. One day. That's how you did it.
That wasn't even one day.
sounds like ours as president. Your one day as president. There you go.
You know that the Earth isn't flat because all the cat furs would have knocked everything off of it by now.
Oh my, that's true though. Nico! Who remembers that quarterly meet?
See, I was just thinking that's what makes Australia so dangerous again, because they are literally at the edge of the planet. If it's really flat.
That's why he knows.
He escaped the edge by
No,
coming to America.
New Zealand
Absolutely
is
not.
Yeah?
They are the edge.
They are the edge.
Hawaii is
That's why he's
Why?
And Hawaii is just not a real place.
I've heard people say Australia's not a real place. Have you been there? Prove it.
Do you pick it up?
Yes, he has.
I do.
Oh no, he
So
has.
when
I
I'm
don't,
around
but
you,
people say he does
It starts coming out, and I'm like, stop, 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 stop,
I
stop.
just
Stop
That's
it.
unbelievable.
Stop it!
Unbelievable, really. Just look at this chap going off right like a right wall geese.
St. George. I think it was St.
You know what's
George.
worse?
What?
You know what's even worse is you know who I talk to
Hikes around
as much
St.
as,
George
if not
and
more,
St.
than the
Lava
UK
tubes.
itself. Edinburgh.
Edinburgh.
That is nice.
Nico just pointed something up. The lava tubes.
In St. George.
There's
That's
lava in St.
far
George.
away though.
That's a long drive.
It's a long
That
drive.
is a long drive.
It's a 3-hour drive.
The only reason
Into
people go to
September,
St. George is to
Yes.
see it while they go into
When's
Vegas.
Comic Con?
Sorry, yes?
Comic-Con.
Is that where the
Yeah.
scorpions are around?
Where the where?
Again.
Scorpions?
The Scorpions?
I think in Southwest.
Look it up, because I don't
This would also be another drive. Another
It's usually like third week of
St. George, how many hours is St. George? About 4 hours drive? 5 maybe. About 4-ish, yeah.
No,
It
no.
takes 3 to get to Kanab.
I mean, I'd love to go to Moab with everyone, but I mean, that's a long way away too.
Looking for
4-hour drive. Come on.
You want to go scorpion hunting in Moab?
Oh.
You can see them under a black light.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they glow under a
Nice.
black light.
Interesting.
That's really cool. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
You need the consent forms by then.
Of course. Dealing with scorpions, yes.
Today,
German
somebody
sparkle?
died.
What?
Anything else?
Who mentioned German Sparkle Party?
What? You know it.
sparkles.
Quick note, if I'm.
Trying to look up when FanX is.
So,
We got 8
Tatsu,
minutes.
anyone really? I'm looking up the dates. Like Salt Lake City Holly Festival of Colors is on June 9th.
Is
So
on
that-
June 9th? Yeah.
That might be. Is that? I don't know if that's too soon or not.
No, that's actually right in where the free meat area is.
Oh.
Or June 9th. No, that's when we're doing Antelope Island.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we're planning July, August, and September.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, well,
Because
I guess-
we've already got the June one.
So
set.
then June's done.
Mhm.
But that's when the Holly Festival of Colors is.
Ah, okay.
We can
So,
still add it.
I suppose that's. I mean, I guess. Whoa, that's early. That doesn't sound right. Ignore me.
A really good paid one would be karaoke.
We could ask for the
Aggressive
karaoke
Retsuko.
one. The karaoke one, we might be able to just watch or ask.
we can all collectively sing Bohemian Rhapsody.
So
like
if
we did at
y'all
BLFC.
wanted to do
Awesome
karaoke
balls.
aggressive Retsuko style, there is one of those karaoke bars open on
Chinatown.
State Street on the Chinatown on State Street. So
I know this.
it could be yeah, that could be entertaining as hell. Oh, Sickness says he gets to be gory.
Oh,
Jesus.
I haven't watched much of it. I need to work.
It's so good.
I've only got up to like the 4th episode. So
Oh no, you're
That's
gonna
not
hurt
good
your
enough. You need to
voices
go
like
further.
that. Tighten up your vocal cords and
Alright.
Protein.
protein. Protein.
He hasn't seen it yet.
Proto.
He won't watch it.
Protein.
Why won't you watch Agretsuko?
I don't know. I'm not sold on the premise.
Death
a
Metal Red
furry
Panda?
anime.
Come on.
It's like a guy's bunch sat in a room one day and said, "Let's come up with something cool like Death Metal Red Panda." Yes, people will watch it because of that.
I mean, yeah. But I mean also, okay, if you're not sold on the premise alone, the character development is actually really well done.
Okay.
It's super stupid relatable. It's entertaining.
They're turning out the lights on us.
Guess we're done.
We should have 5 more minutes.
Weird.
Was that motion?
What was that?
That's probably those
maybe
guys next to us.
Yeah, that might have been
I got
in
it.
the room.
Hold on.
No, please don't. Please don't.
Alright, anyway, we do only have, but guys, I'm not
guess we
super
don't
worried
have a lot
about it. We
of
got
time.
5 minutes. Well, that's pretty.
Well, how romantic.
Yeah, shy.
I'm just kidding. Try the next panel. Next panel. There you go. Ta-da!
And if
But I
you,
liked the romantic.
so the other thing I want to just remind everybody again, if you're interested in doing a panel, I want to get that going here pretty soon. Contact me. We'll get you on
Panel
schedule.
for
I feel like
Do
mine would be
panels,
too
basically,
related
as a
to,
meet.
Abby's.
Oh, a panel.
Because she's
Like a-
because
like a
Abby's doing
con
her
panel.
like character
Okay.
creation one, essentially.
So if you want to do art,
Mine would be like
like what Abby was talking about, character
So mine would be
development.
Panel
just
slash
related
workshop.
slash connected. If I were to do one.
I know we have a lot of artists.
Improv workshop.
Improv. We could all learn how to be a cat.
Yay.
No.
I'm not gonna host
I'm gonna
yet.
take a
It's just
picture of this
suggestion
board and
for
post it
anybody
in
who
the
does know
Discord.
that.
Okay.
Duck.
Goose.
Moose?
Whack.
Oh, okay.
Is that how they quack down there?
Whack.
I'll take that as a yes.
That's whack.
That's whack, yo.
Yeah, but the Canada geese.
Alright.
doing?
I'm gonna go ahead and close out the chats and
Stop
everything.
making cats.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, that was.
Hold up, hold up, hold up.
But did my dish just get broadcasted the entire?
What?
Do what?
Did my dish get broadcasted?
Wait up, wait up.
Probably.
There we go.
Wait, what?
For
What?
once, it wasn't me.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
I sit.
Whitewater and join right at the end of it.
Do you guys need a gavel?
Straight level.
I have a gavel.
You should
I
bring
sit
it.
signal.
It's
I
in my
have
car
boots on
box,
buzzer.
which is not in the car because of BLFC.
Ha.
That seems like poor planning to me.
That
How
is,
dare
I
you.
just got back from a trip. Leave me alone.
That was a week ago from Nevada.
Should be a squeaky gavel.
I'm still like catching up with all the.
Wait a minute.
I'm still catching up with all the stuff I have to do since I've been away. So.
Like.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Ooh.
Alright, goodbye everybody.
Goodbye.